I saw a news story on a woman with a rare type of epilepsy that causes her to see everything like a slideshow, or a video game that gets 10 frames per second. She described watching cars drive by and saying they freeze in place for a moment, and then snap into position further down the road over and over. Her entire life is played out in front of her eyes in still frames, and because if that she wears blinders, or earmuffs, because her senses are constantly contradicting one another, and it overwhelms her. I can't imagine how horrifying it would be to experience life like she does. Your eye has approximately the same proteins as an egg white, and both react similarly to hydrochloric acid, which solidifies the usually liquid substances. Cotard's delusion is a rare psychiatric condition, severe cases of which cause the sufferer to wholeheartedly believe they are dead, putrefying, or simply do not exist. Some Cotard's patients refuse to eat, as they do not believe they need to, with one notable patient dying of starvation. Another woman once asked to be taken to a morgue, to be with the other dead people. The US is still missing at least 6 nuclear bombs somewhere on the continent from Broken Arrow incidents. Indian followers of the Zoroastrianism don't bury or burn their dead. Instead they leave the bodies in special towers, exposed to the elements to be eaten by vultures. Unfortunately, the vultures are now endangered, leaving the bodies to slowly rot. When a person is electrocuted in the electric chair, they feel everything. They are fully aware of their bodies being fried as it happens in real time. One inmate who survived the first round of electrocution said it tasted like cold peanut butter. A human corpse decomposes 4 times faster in water than in the ground, and 8 times faster in open air than in the ground. Scaphism, the worst way of execution I've ever heard of. The word comes from Greek, which stands for hollowed out. The victim is trapped between 2 boats, fed and covered with milk and honey, which then attracts all kinds of insects and vermin that fester and devours you over a couple of days. In 1844, there was a case of hysteria in a French convent of nuns. One started meowing, and after a week all the nuns were meowing harmoniously in the afternoons. It didn't stop until neighbors called soldiers. Anesthesia awareness exists. Being conscious during surgery is an actual experience people have. The children's story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin was based on a real event. Hamelin town records start with this event. The earliest written record is from the Town Chronicles in an entry from 1384, which states, "It is 100 years since our children left." No one know what or who took the children, but there's records of the entire town's children being taken. The island of Okinoshima in the inland sea of Japan is known for 2 reputable things. 1, it's named Rabbit Island, because of the overabundance of wild rabbits, and 2, the island has World War II ruins of a chemical weapons factory, creating poison like mustard gas in its attacks on China. So vital was its secrecy to the Japanese government, that they tried to wipe its location off maps. After getting stung by a cone snail, you don't feel the sting for a little bit. There is no anti-venom and it can be lethal. Treatment is basically keeping the victim alive until the venom wears off. If given access to it, butterflies will happily drink blood. There is a rare genetic disease called fatal familial insomnia, where over the course of months you literally cannot go or be put to sleep no matter what you take or what you do. The symptoms get progressively worse until finally you stay awake watching yourself go insane until you die from exhaustion. When you happen to be murdered, there is only an about 40% chance that your murderer will be found and punished. Your insides are constantly moving around and stuff. I hate this, but it's my favorite for that reason. There was a man from France, named Tarare, 1772 to 1798, who couldn't stop eating. By the time he was 17, his parents kicked him out. He was eating his own body weight in food daily at the time. When he enlisted in the army rations just couldn't satisfy him. Often, he would sneak out at night and search for offal in the garbage and the gutters. He was hospitalized, doctors trying to find a cure, but at night he would raid the morgue. Scientists unable to stop his ability to eat almost anything began to study it. They'd feed him such random things as eels, he'd swallow whole, lizards, a kitten and puppies, all of which he ate alive. When a 14-month-old baby disappeared, he was chased from the hospital by an angry mob. He later died of tuberculosis. The human brain continues to give off electrical signals for 20 to 40 seconds after death. The bodies of the sailors who died on the Edmund Fitzgerald are still down there, almost perfectly preserved, due to the water at that depth being just barely above freezing. Divers who have explored the wreckage have seen their bodies frozen in place to parts of the ship, and have come back reporting that they feel as if they were being followed during their time underwater. Photos were taken, but per the request of the crew's family, they have never been released to the public. Edit, source, https://www. YouTube.com/watch. V equals U0LG9HYGEJC.